Figured I'd go live real quick this morning before we head out. BarberCon, Dallas, Fort Worth area. If you guys are in this area, if you're going to the show, tap in, let me know, drop a comment, come by the booth, come see me. I'm gonna be on stage today at 1, and then again, I believe it's at like 5:30. So just want to let you guys know. I know this was kind of like short notice. Last night, hopped the plane, flew over here, and just want to chop it up with you guys. We'll let some people get up in the room, and we'll get into it a little bit today. We got some interesting stuff to talk about here. Some interesting stuff. So just got all dressed, got the workout in, got the everything I needed to get done prior to the show. We're supposed to play golf today. That didn't work out, but here we go. So the real reason we're here, we're going to be working with Fort Worth Barber Supply on this particular trip. And I went all the way wherever the hell they are. It was like a 40-minute Uber ride last night to go link up with them guys. What a great group of guys. I mean, really just had a blast. We went to the biggest honky tonk in the country, which really isn't quite my thing. Really isn't quite my thing. But I had fun. It was pretty dope. Okay, so the first comment is going to be, what's up with your beard? Appreciate you, man. Yes, that's what we're here to talk about. Yeah, man, like I said, this was short notice. Normally, one of my guys would have cut my hair, took off. I actually don't have any razors. I don't have nothing. I literally lined this up this morning using my Uno single foil shaver. So that's what's going on. But is anybody out here in the Dallas, Fort Worth area, anybody attending BarberCon? So right now, if you guys are not aware, there's actually 2 barber shows that are pretty good size. One is Las Vegas Barber Expo. Our whole team's over there. And, they got Taylor Cuts, Victorino, E.T. the Barber, Danny Styles. Like, they got the whole squad over there, right? And they got me down here, which is dope. Dope, by the way. I'm not complaining. And it's actually with Jesse Elite. So for those of you guys who remember the video, I had the video with Jesse Elite a while back. I filmed him doing a haircut. And, like, to be honest, this dude can cut hair quickly, and it is so good. And I'm really happy to be sharing the stage with him here. S-Craft Blends, he's going to be here. I actually seen him last night, met him in person for the first time. I live in Naples, Florida. I just fly around a lot. Where I'm living, yeah, that's where I'm living, Arthur. And VIP Fades, he said you got BarberCon coming to AZ. Probably won't be on that team. I usually, I don't really know. I wouldn't say it's 100% certain that I'm not going to be there, but there's a chance that they could make a phone call and be like, hey, we want you there. So these are the things. These are the things that's happening. Why does my beard line look so weird to you guys? Like, it looks totally normal to me. This ain't nothing. I mean, compared to how it normally is. It's normally way more over the top than this. But just to let you guys know that these are the things that a lot of barbers do. This just makes us stand out. I can't tell you how many compliments just going out downtown Dallas last night. I got 1 million compliments. Those are all opportunities. If I lived here, those are all opportunities to make money. So today, when I get on stage, I'm going to talk about the business aspect of it and how the mental strength is just so important. Like, everybody who starts off in this business, man, when they first go out of barber school, they're going to have a moment usually where they're like, did I just make a huge mistake and invest all my time into this for nothing? I'm not making any money. All these people are better than me. I just don't have any clients. The clients don't seem to gravitate towards me. Like, all of these thoughts can start to fill your mind, and it can cause you to have second thoughts and reservations about these things. So what I'm here to do with you guys today, and I'm going to do on stage with everybody today, is just to kind of get you to understand that the mental fitness that you're going to need to succeed in this business, building a clientele is one of the hardest things you'll ever have to do. And this goes for anybody. I mean, Look at this. Look at this view, y'all. I gotta show you guys this view because I'm gonna talk about some things. But let's see here. Look at this view, man. They gave me the city view, and you can see some of these buildings down here. Some of these buildings are like old Dallas, and it's surrounded by like a lot of new Dallas buildings. But where I'm going with this, and the reason why I even turned the camera around to show you guys this, no matter what business you're starting, every business that you just looked at one point had a starting point, and they were facing the exact same things. It doesn't matter if you open a convenience store. You are nothing until you get your clientele. There's a barbecue joint that I went to last night. It's called Terry Black's. They have one in Austin, and I'm not 100% familiar with the story, but I do know a little bit about the story, and it's basically the way they treat you when you go there instantly makes you want to come back. Any business that you go to, when you experience a employee who is going above and beyond the call of duty, anytime that you see that, that's what really is the heartbeat of that business. That's what makes you want to come back. I go into Terry Black's. I know my barbecue a little bit, but dude, this is some whole other level of barbecue knowledge, all right? So it can be a little overwhelming. You're walking in there, they got all this stuff. How much am I really gonna need? Am I gonna leave anything on the plate? How much is this gonna cost? Like all of these things, right? These guys are so nice. They break it down for you. They make it so simple. They give you food to try for free, and it automatically just makes you want to come back. It makes you want to come back right away. And these are the things that good businesses do. So let's not lose sight of that. Like if you guys are in the beginning of your journey, you're learning how to cut hair, and you're out of school, it can be so easy to just say, you know what, I'm gonna go home today. I don't got nobody. I gotta just leave. Listen, when you do these things, you're getting yourself further away from the goal, because Joe that was about to walk in that has 3 kids that are gonna be your customers for life, and Joe just happens to coach the high school team and talks about how much he likes his experience here with you, and he promotes you, and all of a sudden this turns into 25 clients. Whether Joe came or not, it doesn't make a difference. It is the fact that when you tell people you're going to be there and you're not there, what do? People do not want to wait for you. When they don't know you, they're not going to give you any type of respect. My customers will wait for me. I had to cancel like 10 of them to come here today. My customers will wait for me because I have a relationship with them. But in the beginning, imagine if I'm brand new, I never met you from Adam, and I tell you, hey man, can you come back next week? Probably not. Kamala Harris, fuck off with that shit. You know where we stand over here, baby. Trump 2024. He said, how long you building that? How long you growing that beard? Believe it or not, this beard has been 3 years. I'm just playing, man. Do what you do with your vote. Like if you that dumb, there's nothing that can help you. But that's what's beautiful about this country. We can vote for idiots if we want to, right? But listen though, at the end of the day, when you really get right down to it, building the clientele is probably the hardest thing you'll ever do in this business. But once it is built, no one can ever take it from you. No one could ever take it from you. You can go to another shop in your area and you could punch your ticket anywhere you want in town. You could get yourself a better deal when you go to other shops. They might say, hey, this is the commission structure. This is the rent structure. This is that. Well, no. Well, listen, I bring a lot to the table when I come to the table. I understand how all of this works for you as an owner, and how me as a worker, I understand how all of this works. So you might be able to get yourself a better deal. So at the end of the day, you can punch your ticket anywhere you want once you build this clientele. And it's not just there. It's also on social media. You can punch your ticket anywhere you want if you have enough momentum, if you're working hard enough. I mean, it's unbelievable the things that you can accomplish now. So at the end of the day, if you look at it this way, like, okay, I'm gonna stay in the shop, I'm gonna do every single thing that I need to do to be successful, and I'm not gonna go home early. I'm gonna recognize that this is gonna be a sacrifice of both my time and my efforts. In turn, I will be rewarded for this. And it is the most critical thing. It's just so easy to talk yourself out of it. Watch me justify myself being a lazy ass liberal like Kamala Harris. Here we go. Somebody else should do all this shit for me. Why am I sitting here? I'm special. I should get all the haircuts in the world. All the money should be made. And somebody else should just give me all that money. Like, no, I'm just playing. But really, the real justification, it kind of goes more like this. It goes more like this. Man, I've been sitting here a while. I got things to do, even though you don't. I got important places to be, even though you don't. I got a, video game I want to play at home that would be interesting to me. I got to find an escape. I want to go get high. I want to smoke. I want to drink. I want to try to pretend like this day didn't happen. These are the true justifications that go on in barbers' minds, right? This is the actual stuff that happens. And pretty soon they start saying, I know I was going to stay here till 6, but, honestly, if I leave now, I can get a jump start on that nothingness that I had planned to do at home. And then you might even get a little jealous that a client who went to you previously goes to another barber in the shop. Because the day that you decided to leave, he stayed there and he said, you know what, come on over here. Come on over here, man, sit down. We'll take care of you. And that is not anybody's fault but your own. My whole theory in life is just based on personal accountability. If you think that Kamala Harris, or really any politician, or if you think that anything else in your life, the shop owner, your wife, somebody else, if you think that anybody else is responsible for your success, then that means that external factors in your life are controlling your ability to succeed. Nah, just like Kevin Gates said, I don't depend on no fucking man for my destiny. I'm gonna go out there and get it on my own. So when there's things that are going wrong, when you got problems, when you got issues, and you start blaming, the shop owner's not advertising for me. This city's fucked up. These politicians don't care about me. All this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Just a bunch of bullshit. It's just a bunch of bullshit that we tell ourselves so that we could justify the behavior that we actually want to engage in. When the reality of it is when you face it, it's a lot harder. It's a lot harder to say, you know what, Ed, you went home early today. It's okay, man. You bitched out today. It's okay. You decided to make a broke-ass dude's move. You decided that today you didn't want to have $500 in your pocket. You just prolonged the agony a little bit longer, but that's okay as long as you can face it and say, you know what? You're right. I can't pay my car payment. You're right. I fell back on my rent. You're right. I can't pay that credit card. You're right. Pretty soon you feel like you're just getting swallowed up by everything and you wind up, just making all these bad decisions. So it can be just so easy to let your mentally, let yourself mentally slide into that stuff. And I am just the most against that you could possibly be. I think some of the prescriptions you could look at would be cold showers, working out, building discipline, doing what you say you're going to do, and actually sticking to a plan, a routine, and knowing. One of the things that I can say for sure, there was so many businesses right here in Dallas, right? There was people who started businesses that were scared. There was people who started businesses that didn't want to go all in. People who get out of barber school and they're like, I'm going to work 1 day a week. Okay, that's fine, bro. And I can't tell you what to do because I don't know your situation. You might got kids, you might got bills, you might got a lot of problems, right? But if there's people out here that are working 1 day a week, it is going to take them a long time. It's going to take them too long. I call that 1 foot in. It's a lot better when you say, you know what? I believe in myself. I'm going to put 2 feet in. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to get it out the mud. I'm going to be successful at this at any cost. Whatever the cost is, I don't care if it fucking kills me. I'm going to be successful. And there was times in my life, like when I started the YouTube channel, and I've talked about this before, but like I had people that around me that were like, man, that's just kind of dumb. This whole thing's kind of weird. Like you're doing this and it's just, you're awkward. And I was. But one thing that I knew that they didn't know, I knew for a fact that I would succeed. I knew that I would never quit. I knew that I would work this YouTube channel until it made money. And it now makes the majority of my money and sends me all around the country. So I'm not saying I'm like this wild success story. I'm actually saying that I'm just an example of somebody who didn't fucking give up. 2012, I released my first video. Shit didn't go good. Boy, it was terrible. I go back, I had to post that video just to show you guys how bad things were. I didn't know how to work a camera. I didn't know how to do a computer. I didn't know how to edit. But what I did know is inside, I knew that I would figure all this out. I don't know it today. I'm not a success today. But I know that I'm going to figure that out. And when you really get that mind state in you, like even my own wife, it's like, dude, And I don't even blame her. But she's like, dude, why are you buying this? Why are you buying this computer? It's so expensive. We can't afford this. And we couldn't. It's true. But I knew that ultimately these were the things that I was going to have to sacrifice to do it. You know, these were the things that I was going to have to sacrifice, just bar none. You know, so at the end of the day, you know, if you're a Tim Waltz guy, stick a tampon in you and really just go stick a tampon in that bullet hole, whatever you've been through, whatever you're doing, and go out there, man, and just reapproach this with a different mind state. Like, you know what? I'm not good at making videos. I'm not good at advertising myself. I'm not good at filming. But just try, man. Drop something. Do it. Make it happen. Rusty in the house. He says, my first video was shocking. You know, and Money Signs, he sees what's up. He's saying not everybody can understand a hustler. And I mean, this is the thing. If you don't, you know, like really, you know, me growing up, I had you know, I didn't have any like real business influences around me, you know? I didn't have anybody telling me like, hey, Ed, go start a business. Like everybody worked in the union. Everybody was like just working. The working mentality was there. And I really didn't have nobody to look to be like, hey, man, you know, there is an easier way. Like when you read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, there's a statement that stood out in there that I'll never forget. It was one idea was we can get a job maybe at one of these hotels here in Dallas. We can work our way up the ladder, retire with a nice pension. Chad's in the house. And, you know, as we work our way up the ladder, we have safety, we have security. It's only the perception of security, by the way, because you could get fired from here just like anywhere else. And then you'd be out on the streets with nothing because, well, you may have moved up in the Westin over here, but guess what? This here's the Hyatt. We do shit different here, and you're going to start from the bottom. You're now a dishwasher. So it's only the perception of security that keeps you in this rat race working for somebody. So now the other perception, the rich dad, he said, why would I climb somebody else's ladder when I could build one myself? And I thought to myself, it was very hard. It was very hard for me to continue working for the factory that I was in. I remember reading that book, and I mean, every day when I came, like after I read that book, and it was not just that, it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon, Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influential People. There was just like, I was on this barrage of 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. Like I was listening to these audiobooks, and after I was done listening to these books, walking into that factory again just felt like the most wrong thing to do. Like I felt like I'm destined for better. This is awful. How could I possibly be here? It felt like getting kicked in the nuts over and over again, like a Bills fan. Like they get you so close and then they just kick you right in the nuts. He said, don't sell the cow. Keep the cow and sell the milk. Or that was you know what, Fresh Kick, that's a good one too. There's another one if I try to kind of remember it, like the communist idea was, you know, we'll have a cow, we'll cut them up into pieces and we'll give everybody equal pieces. And then the socialist, he's like basically the same thing. And then the capitalist, he's like, why would we do that? We'll buy 2 cows, we'll breed them, and we'll have a whole herd. Or how about the young bull on the top of the hill? I know Really knows that one. Really in the house. The old bull and the young bull on top of the hill. I'm not gonna tell that story. I'm not gonna tell that story. Indiana is in the house. Colts are in the house. But all right, you guys, I hope I've inspired you a little bit. I hope that you guys get a chance. If you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I hope that you get a chance to come and visit the booth. We're gonna be rocking out over there. We got a lot of heavy hitters, man. Jesse Elite, he's got a hell of a channel, man. Like Instagram, got like 350,000 subscribers, maybe more. I haven't looked in a while, but super cool dude. I learned a lot from him when I went to Chicago. He's like the man in Chicago. You know, you go places, people know him. And then you guys already know who S-Craft Blends is. Shannon's there. Yo, he's way bigger than I expected, bro. Like I come up to like his chest. I'm like I'm right here to him, you know. But super nice guy. I'm like, actually, I really didn't get a chance to talk to him too much last night, but I'm gonna make up for that tonight. And yeah, man, we got a couple other heavy hitters up there too. So should be a good show. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna go with. It's kind of weird because they did BarberCon Dallas at the same time as they did LV Barber Expo. and Las Vegas is so easy to get a flight from anywhere in the country, and it's not very expensive. So I have a feeling that this show and that show might suffer as a result of this, both happening on the exact same day. But because of that, Stylecraft decided to split up their forces. And because I live closer to Texas, this is where I wound up. So our West Coast team's hammering that one out. And, it just goes back to that VIP fades, man. Like, usually if something happens on the West Coast, unless it's like a really big something, most of the time I'm probably not going to be there unless it's like a business meeting or something like that. That's when I go. I was just in California. I was in Napa Valley last weekend. And I go to Fort Wayne, Indiana, believe it or not, soon. So speaking of Indiana, really, how far are you from Fort Wayne? I'm doing a show. This is going to be funny, man. Because believe it or not, I'm sharing a stage with Wall. I mean, not a stage. It's actually a booth. So, like, I'm going to be there with Stylecraft products, and Wall is going to be there. And it's going to be like that, like, when you see, like, just the awkward, like the dude you don't really want to talk to. Wall doesn't love me. You guys seen the last video. We don't got no love coming from there. I don't got no, I don't hold nothing against Wall. 2 hours. Oh, all right, dude. That'd be so cool, man. I'd love to finally meet you. For all those who don't know, a lot of these subscribers, like really, and a bunch of other people that are always jumping in these lives, man, they've been following me for I don't know how long, man. Maybe 10 years, something like that. I always see this, it's not lost on me, man. I see the same faces. So really, you come see me, bro. I got you with a nice clipper. I'm gonna hook you up, dude. Don't worry about a thing. No payment necessary. We're gonna hook you up with something. Maybe we'll get you a combo set or something. That's actually what I'm rocking with today. I got the Red Rebel combos. I could have brought anything, right? This is kind of funny. I'll show you this too real quick before I go. So I could have brought anything, right? And I'm gonna show you guys how hilarious this whole like kit that I decided to bring is, because these are really the things that I probably use the most, even though I have access to everything. Obviously, I have every clipper imaginable, but I'm gonna show you guys something that it'll probably surprise you. So how do I get the beard straight? You might think that I do all this other stuff. I actually use this. This is an attachment that fits on a lot of blow dryers, actually. Almost all blow dryers, unless they're too small, but even the hybrid. And then and this thing just comes out super smooth. And these right here, man. These right here. Hey, appreciate you. Welcome, Al Rivers, to the Eddie's Army fan club here, man. So appreciate you guys. And you guys can join the membership. You will get exclusive access to certain content that is not available publicly. And you will also get early access to most of the videos. I usually try to give you guys like an early week. But right here, this has been my main hitter. My only real concern about today is this one's set really, really sharp, and I didn't bring anything else. So I'm gonna have to go like gentle. It doesn't feel too sharp like on the sensitive parts of my arm, but it's she's definitely hitting. She is hitting, and I actually love using this. I don't know if it's just like the size or whatever, but there's just something like it's super quiet too. This is a super torque rotary motor, so these are actually fairly inexpensive, and you get these in a set for like $279. Sometimes you'll see them for like $260, and then the updated Rebel, and then of course you guys already know I had to put the diamond. I had to put the diamond cut blade on there. Chad, salute. So for those of you guys who don't know what the diamond blade does, it actually works on any type of hair. So don't think that because I'm going to say curly hair, it wouldn't work on straight hair. It makes fading really, really easy and quick. So what it does is the diamond patterns kind of lay down the hair and they straighten out the curl and they keep the curl straight and then they shoot it into the cutter. So really, really good on any type of wavy textured curly hair. That's where you're really going to see this blade shine. And especially on like colics or any growth patterns that are kind of weird, usually this blade can get that entire amount of hair right into the cutter a lot quicker than pretty much any other blade I've ever used. Which these blades have been really hard to come by. They sell out every time they're around, and they're not around. But they should be around soon. We have a big shipment coming in. No, I've never had the Instinct trimmer get hot. especially not the cool ones. Not the it was the cool ones, not the metal ones. I say cool because like the back is metal and it always feels cool when you pick it up. So they don't get hot at all. So you guys already know the rest about what the Rebel. But if you don't know about the Rebel, one of the things that a lot of people don't know is there's actually 5 big key updates to this version of the Rebel. It's not super public, even though I just kind of made it public. But I've made videos about this anyway, so like I'm not too worried about it. But the there's runners right here. That's what that little hole is right there. The runners on these units are much bigger. The cam followers are green. There's a whole video on this. The switch is updated. The linkage is like there's a bunch of different updates, and it really results in a much. So I've been using with these. These came out probably, I don't know. It had to be 6 months ago or more. I mean, maybe longer. But listen to how quiet they are still. I mean, this is a super quiet clipper now. When they first came out, they would reach 77 decibels, but because of the update that we did there, it's super quiet. And then, you know, I can't leave the house. I can't leave the house without one of my rogues. And then check this out. I forgot I stole the bolts. I stole the bolts for something else. So I'm just gonna be holding this. Maybe I'll grab a rubber band here from Fort Worth Barber Supply. Antonio says, when I started my barber journey in 2021, I used to watch you every day, man. Appreciate you. That's what's kind of cool about these expos, guys. With these expos, what's neat is a lot of the people who go to these are like really serious barbers. They're super cool. They're like really down to earth. Everybody's looking to network. I mean, CT Barber Expo was one of the just coolest experiences I've ever personally had because I've been making videos since 2012. And, you know, all the time, you just deal with so much negativity that, I mean, for me, it just kind of like, I shrug it right off. Like when I first got into live, people are like, oh, what's up with your beard? What are you doing? This and that. Like, I don't really let it get to me, but like the negativity and the positivity, it feels like they sort of offset each other in a way that you almost feel like you've had no impact. And then when you go to the Barber Expo, you got all these people coming up to you with stories like, bro, I learned so much from your videos. I really appreciate all the effort you did. And, you know, if you ever see me at a show, at anything, just come up, man. Shake my hand, say what's up. Don't be shy. Here's some beard balm here. I just noticed that as I was talking shit about my beard, I just noticed I got a couple little flyaways here. So we'll put a little bit of this beard. Oh, it smells so good. But a little bit of this beard balm. Think of it as kind of like a beard styler, you know. It's awesome. So that's all I'm saying, though. You know, when I got out in you know, my very first one of the expos was actually CT Barber Expo, and that was this year. And I got to teach a class like on the main stage, probably the biggest class I'll ever have until next year. We had something like 300 people in there, and it was just like that experience to me was, you know, up there with the greatest business-wise, business purpose-wise. That was the greatest that I think I've ever really experienced. I do this because my nana, my great-grandmother was like my mother growing up, and she was a hairdresser. You know, my dad didn't support this. He was like, what are you, gay? Like, what are you doing with this? And, you know, I'm like, nah, Dad, look, I'm going to make a living. You'll see. So, like, you know, I had a lot of forces in my life that were, like, pushing me in a different direction than this. But at the end of the day, you know, it was my great-grandmother that was the most, like, supportive. She bought me my first pair of scissors. We didn't have money. She spent $280 on a pair of scissors, and I don't know where she came up with that money because we were, like, I wouldn't say we were barely getting by, but we were damn close. We always had food, but, man, it was like, you know, we didn't have no nice stuff. And I never would have expected that she did that. So, anyway, she taught in downtown Niagara Falls where a lot of people are really poor, and she taught these kids how to cut hair actually through the actual Board of Education. So, at the end of the day, it's kind of like I know for a fact that when that happened, like I know for a fact that I made her proud that I've still followed in her footsteps. So, you know, it's kind of like that moment was just really special to me, and I'll never forget it. I was on the stage with Taylor Cuts, and he was knocking out designs. Man, we didn't have a good plan going into that, which kind of made it like the best. It was the best class, dude. He was like, hey, they don't got mannequin stands. I had a plan. I had a whole plan and it went to shit in like 3 seconds. And this is like 5 minutes before we walk on stage, and they're like, yeah, there's no mannequin stands. And I'm like, oh. And Taylor's like, yo, I don't do clipper over comb. And I'm like, bro, really? He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna do a design. So like, we just had this really like harebrained plan, and then like we figured it out, and we made just such a fun class. A lot of people came up, shook my hand, and said this was the funnest class, because we had a bunch of people come up on stage, and you know, we actually had a 14-year-old come up there and learn some hair cutting stuff, and you know, we definitely showed him some love. Taylor gave him the rebel he was working with. Like, that's how cool it was. Just yeah, man. I'll go back and I'll look at that vlog one day, and I'll think like that was a really special moment for me, for sure. So, you know, at the end of the day, I love these expos. Really, I believe it is September 17th-ish. I'll definitely be releasing, because that one I actually have a little bit more notice than I had with this one. I wasn't sure what capacity I was going to be here in, so I really didn't advertise it too much. So you know, a lot of people who are probably here might be either surprised to see me, or might not even know, you know, that I'm here and not come by the booth. So it's always like the biggest fear is that a company hires you to come out and kind of help them, and then you don't even bring nobody. You know what I mean? So that's always like one of the big fears you deal with this. You're like, I hope my phone keeps ringing. You know what I mean? I want to make a difference. I want to help people. I know when it comes down to teaching how to do this, that I can communicate this to anybody. I really feel like anybody can learn. And I do watch other people's tutorials, and I don't want to speak bad on no man, and I won't, but I'm just going to say, like, I watch people who overcomplicate some things, and, you know, it's probably just because they don't see it as simple. They don't see it as clear as I can see it sometimes. You know, I remember going to barber school that first year. I was the disaster of a barber instructor, because I tried to give them everything I knew, and it was just, I overwhelmed them. And the other day I had a golf lesson with this guy. He was just so good and so charismatic, and he knew that I could play golf well, and he was able to spot just a couple little shortcomings that I had, and he gave me something really easy to think on when I swung, and it made the biggest difference. I mean, I went out and I shot one over right after the lesson. That's never happened to me before, but it's like things like this that I look at and I say, like, when you teach a student, you can't give them everything you know. You're just going to confuse them. You gotta be careful with what you say, how you say it, and don't overwhelm them. Give them the confidence, you know, and let them start to kind of make those mistakes, but also correct them. And that's there's been a lot of students in my life. I remember students that would come in, have no clue what they're doing, tell me they want to quit, they don't have and I'm like, dude, this is normal. This is normal. You're not supposed to know how to do this. You think I was born knowing how to do this? I just came out with a clipper in hand and started. I'm like, dude, there was a time where, like, your favorite barber sucked at this. They were awful. They were begging people to cut their hair for free just to get the reps in. So if that's where you are, just think about that. When you look at somebody like A-Rod, you're like, at one point, that's where he was. And look where he is. Look at, like, Los Cut It. Look at Jesse Elite. Look at S-Craft Blends. Look at every single one of us. Every single one of us at one time or another was terrible at this. And, you know, those of us who just had a can-do attitude and a desire to figure this out. I remember I had a student. I remember one of my students, Felipe. This kid came in. He knew how to cut hair a little bit, but I don't think I have ever seen somebody master the fade as quickly as I seen him do it. I mean, I was so impressed. Kenny, too, another barber that works for me, I was so impressed with how, like, they came in knowing a little bit, but, like, I didn't. I mean, all the time I've seen people cut hair, rarely did I see somebody leave school with, like, 100% of what they needed to be successful. Most of the time you leave school, you don't know everything. And when you do that, when you see somebody come in and they want to learn that bad and they work that hard and they get that good, you think to yourself like, yo, anything is possible. I didn't learn that fast. There's no way. I had 2 years in barber school. It was actually cosmetology school. It was through the Board of Education in New York. But I had 2 years of practice. And, yo, at the end of the day, I left school like okay, but I didn't leave school like, yo, who want what? And these two did. They were just like so impressive. I'm talking about 5 months in, 6 months in. And think about this, y'all. This is like working out. If I weigh 300 pounds today and I go do a workout, can you see any difference? Nope. Right? You can't see nothing. I could do this for probably 2 weeks. You're not going to see nothing. But when I commit to this working out and this schedule of eating properly, and I do this for a year, when I weigh 300 pounds, you're going to come back, I'm going to weigh $150. This is the same way, man. You might go out there and make some mistakes today. You might have some issues. It's no big deal, man. It's part of the process. You make the mistakes, you move on. And at the end of the day, you'll turn around and you'll be like, I actually have gotten pretty good at this. 6 months, 7 months, 2 years, 3 years from now, you'll look back and you'll laugh. You'll be like, how did I ever not know how to do this? So trust me, it'll happen. You gotta believe in yourself. And it's just like working out. I go over there and I do 2 curls. I'm like, oh, I got a bicep muscle now. No, you ain't gonna have no bicep muscle after 2 curls. But after you do them curls for a year straight, then you're gonna have them. So it's a lot of people out there that want desperately to learn. And these are the people that are coming out here to the expos. These are the people that are exposing themselves to shows, to education, and humbling themselves. You know, you got barbers in your shop that are really good, that work right next to you. Can you ask them, hey man, can you give me a little bit of a hand? Don't be afraid. Humble yourself, you know. Hey, I see you doing really good. You got a lot of clients, man. If there's anything that I can do a little bit better, like when you ask somebody to criticize you, you win over a mentor, there's a lot of good that can come out of this. And you might be surprised to find out that, you know, Kenny's really, really busy. And I'm not, maybe one day, and one of Kenny's clients comes in and Kenny says, you know what, Ed will take care of you today, man. He's really good. You won over a mentor, and now you may have even got some clients from it because they got a stake in seeing you succeed. There's no reason to walk around here all prideful, talking shit about everybody's haircut, acting like you got to be the perfect one. Like, none of that's true. And you're a weak man if you think that it is. You know, at the end of the day, if you're not secure in what you are, if you're not secure in the fact that you can make some mistakes, like, how much, what do you want to walk around all riddled up with anxiety, all bound up? You're not going to walk around like that. You know, you got to understand it. You're going to make some mistakes. It's okay. Part of the process. Let's say you mess up a client, which I think a lot of you guys who have a lot of anxiety when it comes to cutting hair, you're like so afraid to make a mistake on a client. You're like, God, if my life would be ruined if I made a mistake on a client, right? You think that. No, well, even if this guy tells everybody he knows what all 15 people who don't give a shit about anything he says, they're going to tell everybody he knows. It don't matter. Even if he leaves a 1-star review, it don't matter. And I'll tell you why, and I can prove it. If this guy does all that, which he probably won't, because if you make a mistake, you're going to apologize. You're going to say, look, I'm trying my best to get it together. I made a mistake. You know, it is what it is. At the end of the day, you didn't build your clientele off of one customer, right? You need hundreds of customers. So if you lose one, this is going to happen to you. Whether you do good work or not, you're going to lose a couple every year. You're going to lose a couple, you're going to gain a couple. You're going to lose a couple, you're going to gain a couple. Some years you're going to gain a ton. You know, it's the ebb and flow of this. People come, people go. People move, people go on to different barbers, people go to different places for various reasons. But you just sitting back doing the things you should are going to lead to success. And if you don't believe it, just the proof is all around you. Look at me, look at Jesse Elite, look at any barber that's busy, look at any barber that's successful, look at anybody in this business that's maybe even graduated out from cutting hair and now they're embarking on other opportunities. Anybody can do it with enough, you know, with enough like inner drive, inner strength. So at the end of the day, man, that's what it is. This is the American way. You in this country, man, you could be an absolute nobody in this country, and you could come up here and you could have whatever you want here. Why do you think people who come from Africa do so good here? Why do you think people who come from India do so good here? Why do you think so many people who immigrate to this country legally from different countries, they do excellent here? Because they don't have anything stopping them. Once they get here, they're like, shit, I can work like this. I can make this money. I can live here. I can do all this. They're in the land of opportunity, and they see that. where you got a lot of other weak liberal idiots that are laying around waiting for somebody else to do it, that ain't gonna happen. So the moment you start taking some of that advice, some of that tenacity, some of that drive from what you see around you, that's when it starts to happen for you. Not when somebody else does it for you. All right, you guys, I hope I've inspired you. I hope you enjoyed this live. We got off track a little bit, but these are tough times, man. Politically speaking, this is a pretty important moment in our country, man. I'd hate to see Tampon Tim win. I couldn't imagine. Look at this group of beta males couldn't fight with a stick. Can't believe this. But I'm gonna save this live, man. Don't worry about it. The live is gonna stay up. I appreciate you all for jumping in here. This is the YouTube Barber Academy. Got over 900 videos to help you learn. And at the end of the day, go out there, make some mistakes, stick to your plan, and at the end of the day, just persevere. Ultimately know that inside, you're gonna persevere. Really appreciate you guys. If you guys are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, you go to BarberCon, come say what's up, man. Come shake my hand. Don't be shy. Say what's good. All right, y'all. Peace.